Nothing is making sense anymore. Microsoft just beat their estimates on their quarterly earnings, but also lost $375 billion in market cap on the same day. So they reported record revenue and then lost 10% of their value immediately afterwards. I'm going to show you why Wall Street is finally doing the math on this AI bubble and how things are not adding up. January 29th, 2026 was the second largest single day value destruction in American corporate. To recap that, $81.3 billion in revenue. They beat estimates, 4.14 EPS, beat estimates. Despite this, the stock drops by 10.5%, wipes out $375 billion worth of market cap from Microsoft. Message from Wall Street, loud and clear, message received. AI is no longer a free ride. We want proof that we're getting a good return on our investment. Buried in that earnings news intentionally is the other number they really did not want you to hear about. And that is that only about 3.3% of Copilot chat users are paying money for it. So to do some rough math on that, there's about 450 million commercial Microsoft 365 seats. Only about 15 million paid Copilot seats because of that percent. So they basically have been giving this away to prove value, which is what everybody else is doing. But this is a publicly traded company, so the numbers are laid bare. And get this, their burn rate is real bad too. How much did they spend on AI infrastructure in just a single quarter? $37.5 billion on AI infrastructure. That's up 66% in terms of a year-over-year quarterly increase. Let's do some math on that. $37.5 billion quarterly, so times 4, that's a $150 billion annual run rate. That is more than most Fortune 500 companies are worth in their entirety. Spent on AI infrastructure, gone. Even their chief financial officer, Amy Hood, boy, I'd hate to have her job right now, said, quote, "We thought we'd catch up. We're not. Demand is increasing. But if demand is so high, why is Copilot not converting? Why are only 3.3% of users paying for it?" And then you have their cloud wing, Azure, their cloud services, the services that all of the internet runs on, either that, Google Cloud Platform, or Amazon Web Services. And Azure's growth is even down. It dropped from 40% to 39%. The whisper number was 41%, which is what they were on the down low really hoping to hit, which is a real head scratcher because they spent $37.5 billion a quarter for AI infrastructure, ostensibly the server racks, the compute, the server farms that they're putting in rural Minnesota and rural Wisconsin that's taking up all of the energy from the paying citizens, the tax-paying citizens of those places. They're just hucking money at these data centers, and they're not getting Azure growth out of it. These data centers are where the cloud is. And so them saying they can't meet demand, it doesn't make any sense to me. They're spending more than entire Fortune 500 companies are worth just on infrastructure to build out their data centers, which creates cloud offerings that they can sell through Azure. And they're saying they can't keep up with demand, but I have a hunch that maybe the demand just isn't there. This is a back to fundamental year for Wall Street, and they learned or are relearning something, a simple fact that they forgot a long time ago, because they came so abstracted from the money with this latest AI boom. And that is, you cannot spend your way to profitability if nobody is buying the product. And in fact, they are putting the cart before the horse. They are prioritizing internal AI, Copilot, and their OpenAI offerings instead of selling Azure to customers, which at this point, it's a no-brainer. Like, everybody needs cloud compute. There's so much freaking money in data centers right now, in infrastructure, that if you can't sell it, that's a skill issue. And in fact, 45% of their cloud backlog is tagged to what I'm now going to start referring to as everybody's problem child, which is OpenAI, the company that is now very far behind in terms of model quality, that NVIDIA just bowed out of a major $100 billion deal with, that is crashing and burning. OpenAI, by the way, the statistic I always quote, they're burning $14 billion a year. So it's only a matter of time before they run out of money unless they get more VC funding. In other words, Microsoft's biggest AI customer might not exist in a year or two. We got to follow the money then and look into who is actually benefiting when Microsoft is burning $150 billion a year on AI infrastructure that 96.7% of users are not going to pay for. And let's go with the obvious one. If you've been following this channel for a little while, you already know the answer, and it's NVIDIA. All roads lead to NVIDIA. All of this is circular funding that ties back into NVIDIA. They're making $51 billion per quarter just from data center revenue. And then, of course, you have the construction companies building data centers. You can see these on the stock ticker over the past year. APLD is the one that I always talk. All of them are up for the time being. Then you got the power companies selling electricity. We're even starting to see a resurgence of interest in nuclear energy in the country, so we can foot these bills. But Microsoft shareholders are not profiting from this. So here's where we're at on a timeline. The AI bubble has already popped. It has begun. It has begun. We are in the pop now, the early days, but it has popped. We're seeing the clearest evidence of that with this Microsoft situation going on because they're a publicly traded company. They have more reporting standards and accountability than a private VC-funded enterprise like OpenAI or like Anthropic, where you can sort of play a little bit of a shell game and it's harder to tell where the money is flowing, what it's being used for, what's your profit model, those sorts of things. They're going to get found out too. But it's easier to point at Microsoft because they're a publicly traded company. They have to do an earnings call every quarter. So it's easy to point at it and say, what is going on there? And if you want to understand where all of this is headed, subscribe. Just getting started with these. We're going to get into broader territory about who is actually controlling the cloud, why they want to ban personal compute and move you into cloud compute. Please like and subscribe. And if you have a friend that would be interested in trying to grow the channel right now, please share this video. Thank you for watching.